You've got a lot going on in your world right now, to say the least.
Well, we've got a few things going on, but glad we could I could come in this morning and just visit with you all on what we're proposing here.
Very good. And so tell us, so we've got a proposition coming up on the ballot this Saturday, one for Simmsboro, one for Ruston. The one in Ruston probably has been the one that has had the most conversation around it. I think your hope is probably bring the most clarification to today. So why don't we start off? Tell us, just so folks that might not understand, because we have a lot of people that do not have school-aged kids in our area, what currently is the configuration of the Ruston schools today?
So right now we've got Hillcrest and Glenview that are both kindergarten, first and second grade schools, and then our students in the city of Ruston or the Ruston School District transition to Ruston Elementary and Cypress Springs, where they go to third, fourth, and fifth grade. So that's our elementary situation, and of course everyone goes to I. Lewis for sixth grade. Everyone goes to Ruston Junior High for seventh and eighth, and then on to Ruston High School for 9 through 12. So several transitions there for families and kids to maneuver through as they go from kindergarten all the way through high school.
And that configuration was put in place to help us get through some of the desegregation orders that were put in place years ago, correct?
Correct. We used to have 4 K through 5 schools, and then this configuration for Glenview, Cypress Springs, Ruston Elementary, and Hillcrest was put into place so that we could integrate more of the schools and have a better situation there to get unitary status with the Justice Department.
Yeah, and so the school district has achieved that unitary status, and so they're no longer under the watchful eye of the Justice Department as they were for a long time. So let me ask you a quick question. And I've had people ask me, why can't we just go back to neighborhood schools like they used to be?
Well, I mean, I think if we go back to that, then we end up back in the same situation with the Justice Department. By keeping the schools like we have them now, not changing any attendance zones, we have the same demographics. Basically 167 for the most part. Separates kids that go to school at Hillcrest and Ruston Elementary, and then on those on the west side go to Glenview and Cypress Springs.
And that's pretty racially equal on both sides of 167.
It is, right, and it keeps all 4 of those schools are pretty racially balanced there. And then, of course, when everybody goes to I. Lewis, then they're all at one school.
Gotcha. Very good. Okay. So talk to us about this proposition. The big question is this a renewal or a new tax?
Okay, so been a lot of confusion about that. Of course, if this were to pass, then it is a brand new bond that we would be selling out there, bonds to be sold that would raise $65 million. But we would pay for that over the next 20 years by not changing anything that anybody's paying. We would continue with the 17.75 mils, no increase in that for anyone. And actually, after about 10 to 13 years, some other bonds that we have now will be rolling off of that, so that millage rate would roll back. But it is not we're not asking taxpayers to pay more money, just to continue to pay what you've been paying. And that was part of what went into planning, is not asking for more money, just trying to use the money that we have and continuing that for more years to pay for this, as our schools are all, the elementary schools are all, 55 to 60 years old now.
Gotcha. Okay. And, I think that one thing people have been asking about is buses, time on the bus, busing across town. Will this make kids spend more time or less time on the buses?
So if you think about it, no matter whether you're coming from the north or south, east or west, if we take out stopping at another school, that's going to save 15 to 20 minutes of bus time that you're riding every morning and afternoon. So we could start our bus routes about 15 to 20 minutes later every morning, and kids would get home in the afternoon 15 to 20 minutes earlier in the afternoon. So the morning would start later, afternoon they'd get home earlier.
Okay, very good. And would this cause the demographics of the schools to change in any way?
No, we would keep exactly the same attendance lines. None of that would change. Demographics of each school would stay the exact same there.
Okay, all right. Now, I know that there's some people that don't like this plan for whatever reasons are out there, what other options were explored before y'all settled on these two schools? Because I think that the rub for some people is the fact that the two schools that you're suggesting on sending the students to are north of I-20, which would be Hillcrest and Glenview. What other options did you look at, and why did you not choose those options?
Okay, so what we're looking at, let's talk about the east side, Hillcrest and Ruston Elementary. What we're proposing, what this would pay for would be Hillcrest would become a K through 5 school. We would move the kids that go to third, fourth, and fifth from Ruston Elementary to Hillcrest. And we chose Hillcrest because that's where we have more land there. At Ruston Elementary, we're really landlocked. We couldn't extend the bus line. We couldn't make a new car line for more kids to get in and out of there. We have the land at Hillcrest to expand and make the campus larger, build some new buildings there, update all of that. And then on the west side, we first looked at Cypress Springs because that's kind of where we wanted to make that side have a K through 5 school. But when we did that, when you look at the terrain behind Cypress Springs, like it drops off, so that made it a challenge to add on over there. And even if we could do that, trying to figure out how to extend the where we could have more buses get in there at one time and extend the car line for a better flow of traffic became virtually impossible, other than if we wanted to buy property around it, which has houses and a church there. So we looked at Glenview next, which we have a lot of land that goes all the way down to the softball field. So it's plenty of room there. The terrain's a lot better to build another building to adding and making it a kindergarten through 5th grade school. We could make the car line, we could extend the bus line out in front of it. There's plenty of road frontage there. So that's the reason those two campuses, just simply because of the land that we have there already, and without having to go try to buy new land or to start over building a whole new school. I mean, we looked at, could we build a new school? Well, instead of 65 million, I mean, we need about 65 or 70 million just for one school. So if you're going to build 2 new schools on each side, it would have been 140 to 150 million dollars, and we just felt like raising people's taxes and trying to do that was not the best way to go about this, and trying to use the money that we have and trying to stay within a budget.
Right. Okay. All right. So, and talking about and you talked about Glenview. I live right behind Hillcrest, so there's room there to expand to get the car line kind of off the streets a little bit more.
Yeah. So we could come in where the car line is now and make it go to the right a little bit and make a loop in there so that you could double park cars in there to get them out of the neighborhood. And some people think, like you're doubling the size of that school, so you're going to have to twice as many cars coming through there. Well, that's not actually true, because if you think about, a lot of families have more than one kid, so they're already going from Hillcrest to Ruston Elementary. Right. They'll just go to one school. Yeah. It will increase some traffic there, but not near of what we had first thought it would.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. Okay. And so what are you going to do if this passes? What are the plans for the facilities that are not going to house students?
Yeah. So what our plan, the capital outlay plan that the board approved, would be Ruston Elementary. We would look to we're working with the Boys and Girls Club if this were to pass. They're very interested in having that facility for their upper junior high and high school kids to have somewhere to go and for them to expand their program. We think that's a great partnership to have that extends some educational opportunities for kids, so it's just a natural partnership for us to have there. Cypress Springs, we would transform that into the new central office, move from where we are on Farmville Street and some over by the old Lincoln High School, and all be on one campus there. We feel like if we're all in one place, there's a lot more opportunity to work with one another and have a little more collaboration and support kids.
Yeah, and y'all are tight in the central office anyhow. There's not a lot of extra space in there whatsoever.
Right. I mean, and we've got pupil appraisal and SPED kind of in another building across town, but this would allow us to bring them all together and still utilize the buildings that we have moving forward.
Very good. All right. And so other than talking about the situation at the elementary schools, talk about some of the other things that are included in this proposition. I know there's some things in there for Ruston High School. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So out at our baseball field, of course, we had the tornado a couple of years ago that messed up the backstop, and we've kind of Pat's milled that together, but if this were to pass, we would build a new backstop at the Ruston High baseball field, redo the grandstands to bring them up to similar to what the girls have over at softball field and what is out there at the other RPAR fields, and a new press box there. So it would upgrade that facility for baseball, and then also it would provide us the opportunity to build a covered multi-purpose facility there on the Ruston High campus right next to the field house. It would be the size of a soccer field. It would be covered, not totally enclosed though, similar to what we looked at one that El Dorado High School has. And I think if you look at all of the things that have happened in the past over the summer with it getting hotter and the heat problems, and then the legislature passing some bills, that if it's too hot or humid, we can't get outside. If we have this covered facility, band, football, all of those that practice in August would have the opportunity to be under this pavilion. And it lowers the temperature of about 15 degrees, so it makes it much safer for our kids. It would have like a baseball and softball inlay on it, so they could be able to use that facility. Cheerleaders, Palm Squad, all of them, when they need to practice for football games and things, it gives us another opportunity, another place for all of those students to practice and work, and just helps out. I think El Dorado High School had told us, it's the most used facility that they have on their campus up there.
Very good. So lots of things included in this, and we appreciate you, Ricky, for coming by and giving us some information related to this. The election is coming up on April 29th. Anything else you want to let us know about?
Yeah, just early voting is going on this week all the way through Saturday at the courthouse. We encourage everyone to get out and vote, and if you miss that opportunity, then next Saturday, April 29th, we hope to have as good a turnout as we can for people to get out, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Very good. Thank you so much. Superintendent Ricky Durrett from the Lincoln Parish School Board, we appreciate you being with us. Folks, always remember, exercise your privilege, your right to vote, April 29th, and early voting through April 22nd for the municipal general election for the Ruston School District number 1 proposition, and also those of you in the Simsboro School District 3, there's also a proposition on the ballot for you as well. Thanks, Ricky, for being with us. More coming up on Q94.1.
Sorry, man, your camera froze.
You froze?
You froze.
I froze?
Yeah, you froze. I'm Rick Godey.
Yeah, Ricky Durrett.
Hey, man.
Hey, so he didn't freeze, I just froze?
Yeah, you froze. This
I'm
froze.
not worried about me.
Actually, it's turned off.
No
so,
one cares about me.
pardon.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
So, yeah, come on over here.
Ready?
Have a seat.
You need this other camera, Rick?
Say what now?
You need this other camera?
No, but I need that other microphone that was on Ricky's.
Yep, I got it.
Thank you, Ricky, for your
I'm
work.
going to shut this door so that I don't bother you and you don't bother me. All right?
You see what I'm doing here? Putting that in there like that. That's going to be for the stream. This is going to be for the radio.
Okay.
So we're doing two things at once, and it's an awkward room. So Doug's froze. Yours didn't freeze.
Now, do you want these as a guide or no?
Sure.
He told me to bring them.
All right. Let's. Yeah, man. Let's see here. Okay, let's. PTZ, where are you? There we go. We can make this. Yeah, you're going to have to kind of scoot up a little bit there.
We can do it.
And let me change. Hang on, let's see. That was that. We don't need that. We're going to do that. Okay, we don't need that. We do need that. All right, so let's move this over here.